Frederick Douglass was not just a famous black man from America. He was one of those rare people who turned pain into argument and argument into power. That is the real story. A man born into slavery with almost no formal schooling at the start, and yet he became a writer, speaker, reformer, and one of the sharpest voices against slavery in the 19th century. That kind of rise does not happen by luck. It happens because the person refuses to stay small. People often hear his name and think of a neat history lesson, but Douglass was not neat at all. He was born enslaved in Maryland, likely in 1818, and his life began inside a system built to break people before they could even name themselves. Britannica notes that he was born to a black mother and a white father, which tells you something ugly about the world he came from. Slavery was not only forced labor, it was violence, theft, and hypocrisy all mixed together. Douglass understood that early, and he never let people soften it. What made him dangerous to slavery was not only that he escaped, it was that he could explain slavery better than many free men could explain freedom. He taught himself to read and write, and that changed everything. Once a person can read the law, the Bible, newspapers, and speeches, the whole game shifts. Douglass used language like a weapon. He wrote his own story, spoke in public, and made white America face what it preferred to hide. That is why his autobiography mattered so much. It was evidence. It was testimony. It was a man saying, "This happened to me and you will not call it normal." Now, some people make him sound like a saint from the sky. No. He was a human being with strategy, ego, anger, and discipline all at once. That is what made him effective. He worked with abolitionists, pushed for black rights, and later argued for women's rights too. He also understood politics better than many activists do today. He knew you need speeches, yes, but you also need institutions, allies, and pressure. Pure moral outrage can shake a room. It does not always change a law. And this is where outsiders sometimes miss the point. Douglass was not only fighting for the end of slavery, he was fighting for the right of black people to be seen as fully human, fully intelligent, and fully political. That is a bigger battle, because once a society decides your mind is inferior, everything else becomes easier to justify. Douglass spent his life smashing that lie in public again and again. So who was Frederick Douglass? He was a former slave who became a national conscience. A man who proved that literacy can be liberation and that truth, when spoken with enough force, can unsettle an empire. His life still matters because the same old trick remains common. Keep people ignorant, then call them unfit. Douglass never accepted that. We should not either.